10 seconds. Stand by. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. With that buzzer begins our first look at Linda for the women's division. This is event number 2, presented by Rock Tape. And if you are just walking in, just to let you guys, just tuning in at home, to let you guys know this event is named Linda, and it is 10 down to 1. And by that I mean 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 reps of deadlifts, bench press, and squat cleans. Now the deadlifts for our female athletes are 220, bench press 135, and squat cleans at 105. They'll have to complete 10 of each of those 3 movements before advancing their barbell to the next marker. You see the markers laid out on the floor, 10 down to 1. Our first look at these athletes, one of these women will set the time to beat, or the score to beat. For our next heat of competitors, we have 4 heats, 3 more to go. Mandy Newsom, outstanding performance in event number 1 earlier this afternoon. Newsom looking to do a repeat here in event number 2. She is the first to the barbell and the first to get that barbell moving at the squat lane. Kinsley down in lane number 3, second. Alberg makes it 3. That's your 1, 2, and 3. Looking to finish up the reps of 10. Still a 17-minute time cap in place, just like we had for the fellas earlier. And we're approaching the 2-minute mark. Kinsley advancing her barbell. I don't believe I introduced the athletes. I was too busy talking about the event, but we'll go back and do that. Now in lane number 1, Jolene Cork. Lane number 2, Sierra Crowley. Lane number 3, Taylor Kinsley. Lane number 4, Rachel Escolas. Lane number 5, Lacey Bumgart. Lane number 6, Mary Kay Dreisilver. Lane number 7, Kara Pasley. Lane number 8, Jennifer Alberg. Lane number 9, Mandy Newsom. And rounding out this heat in lane number 10, Danielle Cook. Passing 5 minutes and 33 seconds on the time clock. Newsom and Oliver both moving into the 8-rep marker. Along with Kinsley now being joined by Dry Silver and Escolas as we pass again. We're coming up on the 6-minute mark, 17-minute time gap. Daniel Cook advancing to the 8-rep marker. Taylor Kinsley advancing, coming out of the round of 8, moving into the round of 7 and into the lead as she heads back to the deadlift to get Taylor down in lane number 3. Kinsley from CrossFit Chapman, digging into her 7 reps at 220 on the deadlift. Minutes in, again, 17-minute time gap. So approaching the halfway point. Dry Silver, Crowley, and Escolas all coming out. Looking to finish that round of 8. Along with Cook as we approach the 9-minute mark. Roll it up on 10 minutes in 17-minute time gap, so a little over 7 minutes remaining. Taylor Kinsley advancing our barbell into the 6-rep zone. Newsom and Alberg making their way out, looking to finish up their round of 7. Newsom and Alberg both finishing up that round of 7, heading back to kick off their round of 6 at the deadlifts. Kinsley on the bench. Silker and Crowley looking to finish up the round of 7. Join the leaders in the round of 6. Bench press starting to become the stumbling block for some of these athletes. Just past 13 minutes, a little less than 4 minutes remaining. Kinsley advancing the barbell, still in the lead. Taylor Kinsley heading back to kick off the round of 5 reps, starting with the deadlifts. Alberg looking to finish up the round of 6, being joined now by Newsom. Less than 3 minutes to go. Alberg now heading back to start the round of 5 as well. Approaching 15 minutes on the time clock. Athletes, you have 2 minutes, 2 minutes remaining. Crowley and Crook looking to close out the round of 6. As is Dreisilger. seconds, athletes. Approaching the 1 minute mark. It looks like we've seen the lead change hands. Jennifer Alberg now coming out to the barbell to finish up the round of 5. Taylor Kinsley fighting her way through that rep on the deadlifts, or correction, on the bench press. She'll get the last rep, and she will come out to finish up the round of 5. But now Newsom joining Alberg and taking over that lead. Less than a minute to go, athletes. Less than 40 seconds, and Alberg will advance first. Newsom will advance next, 30 seconds. Kinsley will advance to the 4-rep marker and roll back. An attempt to overtake her 2 competitors with 15 seconds remaining. Alberg and Newsom rolling through the round of 4. 10 seconds. And we're gonna finish it up for our athletes in 3, 2, 1. And that's time. Big round of applause for all the teams, all the athletes on the floor. Alberg.
10 seconds. Athletes stand by. All right, ladies and gentlemen, heat number 2. Event number 2 here in the Central Regional. We got our individual women taking on Linda. Let me broken down. In the last heat, 10 down to 1 deadlift, bench press, and cleans for these athletes. We got a full heat, 10 ladies out here taking on event number 2, closing out day number 1. Number 10, Rebecca Merritt. Day number 9, Adele Willis. Day number 8, Fee Sagafi. Number 7, Taylor Richter. Number 6, Jessica Schwartz. Number 5, Vanessa. Number 4, Colleen Steele. Lane number 3, Nicole Chapman. Number 2, Kimberly Hill. And in lane number 1, Bridget Erickson. Once again, 10, all the way down to 1. So we've got 2 competitors now already working on the cleans. It's going to be Aaron here in lane number 5. First athlete through the set of 10. Vandereshi not wasting any time, going right to work on her second set of deadlifts. You can see her there on the Jumbotron as well. So we just passed the 2-minute mark, 17-minute cap. just past the 3-minute mark. The majority of our competitors now onto that second round, a set of 9. A lot of our ladies here working on the bench press. Looks like Bridget Erickson down there in lane number 1. Going touch and go here on the set of 9. She is our first athlete. Onto that second set of cleans. She's about to have some company there though. Lane number 2. Ambry Hill getting ready to join her. Erickson and Hill. Damon Dressing not far behind, and she's now working on the cleans as well. It's going to be Bridget Erickson. First athlete making her way back to the set of 8 deadlifts. Karen here in lane number 5, also making her way back. The 5-minute mark, or 17-minute cap, 12 minutes remaining. Bridget Erickson out of CrossFit Rise, getting through the deadlifts and now on to the bench press. Steele in lane 4, able to finish up her set of 9 cleans as she makes her way back to the deadlifts. All eyes are still on lane number 1. Bridget Erickson still holding down that top spot here as she works on the bench press. Now starting to build on her lead. Going touch and go here on the set of 8. Bridget Erickson down there in lane number 1, yellow top, black bottoms. Moving nice and smooth there through the cleans. Just past the 7-minute mark. Bridget Erickson now making her way back to the deadlifts. Ambry Hill now working on her set of 8 on the cleans. Now a lot of action out here center floor, and we have just hit the 8-minute mark. A handful of ladies working on their set of 8 on those cleans. Moving nice and smooth here in lane number 8. Jessica Schwartz also moving that barbell well. We're 8.5 minutes in, competitors. Erickson now making her way back to the barbell for her round of 7 here. Erickson still going touch and go here on the queens. Right now trying to hold that top spot here in heat number 2, event number 2. Again, that clean weight, 105 pounds. Erickson making her way back to the deadlift, 220 on that bar. We just passed the 10-minute mark, 7 minutes remaining. Making our way towards the bench press. 35 pounds for our ladies here at the Central Regional. Steele making her way back to the deadlift. They're in lane number 4, as well as Hill in lane number 2. Now at the 12-minute mark, 5 minutes remaining, Erickson on to her set of 6. And now the only athlete working on those queens. Bridget looking to wrap up the round of 6 here. She will do so right at the 12:25 mark. She continues advancing forward now to the set of 5. They're in lane number 4, making weight on that barbell. steal. Go ahead and advance now into her set of 5. So 1 Erickson, 2 steal. Now 3, Embry Hill. Erickson able to lock out her final bench press on the set of 5, taking her right to the barbell, 105 pounds on that bar, going touch and go. There's 2, now 3 reps for Erickson. Round of 5 is completed for Erickson as she now makes her way towards the deadlift. She's got about 2.5 minutes now. We'll see how far she can get. Two minutes, competitors. Erickson going singles here on the set. 4 on the bench press. 90 seconds. Able to finish out her bench press, making her way now towards the bar. She's got just over 1 minute. Erickson going touch and go. All 4 reps of the clean. Just under 1 minute, competitors. We're going to count them down in 3, 2, 1. That is time, ladies and gentlemen. Heat number 2. Let's give them one more round of applause.
And here in heat number 3, we'll have 5 of the top 10 athletes after that opening event, including 10th place Michelle Fumagalli in lane number 4, 8th place April Payne in lane number 9, 7th place Taylor Stride in lane 3, Amanda Hardiman finds herself in 4th, she'll be in lane number 2, and your points leader Christy Aramo in lane number 5.
Aramo, absolute domination in event 1, 41-26 on that distance event.
Also in the top 5 and here in this heat will be Amanda Hardiman, 4th place finisher in that first event.
Amanda Hardiman trains out of CrossFit Conjugate. I expect to see great things out of her because they spend tons of time throwing barbells around.
First time this weekend, these athletes will get to put their hands on a barbell. And we start with that set of 10 on the deadlifts at 220 pounds.
220 pounds, I expect to see a lot of these girls go unbroken through this first round, maybe start to break it up in the later rounds. The goal here here for our ladies is to not fail on the bench press. The bench press, we saw it in the men. The men had a hard, some of the guys struggled on the bench press, and our ladies, it's going to be the same thing. This 135 pounds is enough weight that for a lot of these girls, it's going to be really challenging to get through the meaty section of the workout, which would be 8-7-6. That's where the struggle is going to come into play. One of the things that we always talk about as coaches, especially on the bench press, is to use your back and your lats. And one of the ways that we do that, there's a little cue to pull your shoulders down and back and tuck your shoulder blades into your pocket. And you can see she's doing a great job right there of engaging the lat as the barbell comes down and hits her chest, and using that lat to start the press on the way up.
So that for Nikki Zucchio in lane number 1. She finds herself 5th to the final bar of 3, that being 105 pounds as they start their set of 10 on the squat clean.
Right out of the gate, Brandon, we're seeing a couple different styles. Some of the ladies out there are doing singles, and others are doing some touch and go reps. You got to be careful with those touch and go reps, because you'll get yourself really close to red line, knowing that you have to go back to the deadlift bar.
You mentioned Amanda Hardiman out of the CrossFit Conjugate. That also the gym for Nicole Holcomb, somebody that's been very good with the barbell throughout her career. But it is Christy Aramo in first, Holcomb in second, and then in lane number 4, that'll be Michelle Fumagalli, rounding out our top 3 after the opening round. For Amanda Hardiman, mentioned that background coming out of CrossFit Conjugate, also a former Division I soccer player, so has the legs, apparently has the barbell proficiency as well.
Well, no doubt. And in this event in Linda, the lungs come into play. That's a lot of squat cleans. And their hamstrings are going to be toasted from the run. So she has the lungs to get this thing done.
Aramo back onto the bench. Long setup time there. Nothing wrong with that, of course, on the round of 9.
It pays to be deliberate, especially on these bigger sets. This bench press, that bench press has to be 85-90% of Christy's body weight. She's doing a great job moving the barbell around.
She went better. That bar actually 7 pounds heavier than she is. She's one of the athletes here in the field that bar is going to be heavier than. And of course, if you do this, the Linda workout on your own, it's based off your body weight. You're doing your bench at body weight in terms of that. Here at regionals, it had to be standardized, so it was using the weight that was the average games athlete from last year. And we're seeing that factor play out in lanes next to each other as Michelle Fumagalli on the left, Christy Aramo on the right. Fumagalli, one of the heaviest athletes here in this heat at 155, Aramo the lightest at 128.
It's almost a 30-pound difference between these two, but they're both moving the barbell really efficiently.
Aramo on to round 3, into the round of 8. Fumagalli enters this event in the top 10, getting a no rep. I believe that one was for having the bar leave her shoulders before she stood it up. But she will be second place into the 3rd round, the round of 8. Going into event number 1, we said it was going to be damage control for Brooke Wells until she gets to this event. This time, we said event number 1 was going to be the home run for Christy Aramo, and it was. And event number 2 was going to be a bit of damage control, and so far, we're just not going to throw that one out there anymore.
I'll tell you, Brandon, the more and more you and I talk, it sounds like we know. So Christy's doing a great job here of pacing on these bigger sets. The 10-9, and then now we're working in the round of 8. That bench press setup looks great. Huge, big breath in. She pressurizes her chest. She pulls those shoulders down and back, and then locks those arms nice and tight at the very top. That is a perfect executed bench press.
Also in the top 10 entering this event is Taylor Stride. Here she is in lane number 3, and she's got a couple things going for her. She comes out of heavy metal CrossFit, so heavy barbell, heavy metal. Okay, there's that one. But she has a qualifying spot in the American Open for a couple of years, so somebody that is very proficient with a barbell, maybe not in this type of movement, but she is not a stranger to lifting heavy. and that's something, obviously we do have the cleans here to end the round, but when it comes to the deadlift and the bench press, what are the correlations? Because we see a lot of athletes these days really make a priority out of the Olympic lifts, maybe not so much the traditional power lifts. What's the correlation between those two fields?
It's an interesting one. It's an interesting question, Brandon, because I think in the CrossFit landscape, the bench press really doesn't come into play all that often, and it's a traditional powerlifting move that a lot of guys, especially growing up through high school playing football, the NFL uses it in their combine. The bench press is really, really important, but in the CrossFit landscape, not so much. But when we look at the deadlift is a key factor. It is one of the indicators of overall strength. But right now, we're watching Christy rip 220 off the floor, and every single rep looks absolutely perfect. The arms are totally straight. You can see her chin stays tucked down. Her back is flat. Super efficient movement right there. That is exactly what the deadlift should look like when it's a touch-and-go rep. I noticed on Christy's last set too, she did all the reps unbroken. That was an unbroken bench press set. So I expect to see that here too.
Aramo continuing to lead the way, not just here in this heat, but also in the point standings, as we're in a heat with 5 of the 10 athletes all in the top 10. Of course, that led by Christy Aramo, who, again, looking to go unbroken on this set of the bench press, and there you go, another unbroken set. Another one of those top 10 athletes entering this event is April Payne, and she's one of a handful of athletes that comes in heaviest in the field, about 155 pounds. Could put that to her advantage in this one after a solid 8th place finish in event number 1.
In an event like Linda, being a little bit on the heavier side absolutely has it has its dividends, because it pays to be a heavier athlete on the bench press. Maybe not so much on the squat cleans, because you're going to suffer with your wind, but on the bench it certainly helps.
Struggle here on the bench for Payne as we check back in on the leader, Aramo. Pound for pound for Christy, that's never been the issue in strength in that term, but it's the fact that normally she's one of the smaller athletes in the field. Of course, she's got great endurance. She is strong, but it's just typically that we see athletes that are stronger.
It's a tricky thing when do you factor in body weight? Should that be a consideration? I think it's just fine the way it is. Basketball is not fair for guys like you and me, Brandon, and not every event is going to be perfectly suited to you as a CrossFit athlete. So, rather than going out on the field or on the floor and talking about your body weight, just get to work. Put your chin down and do the work.
Aramo making her way back to the bar. She might not want those safety implements that are added, but for more there, we go to Mike Arsenault.
That's right, Brandon. 2 mechanisms for safety instituted here in a regional event, Linda, because bench press under fatigue can be quite dangerous. So we have the safety straps that are perpendicular to the bar, and also a spotter behind, or should be standing behind. And what the spotter will do will only come in to assist if the bar starts to descend or if the athlete is struggling significantly. If that happens, the bar must be racked before another rep can be attempted.
Thank you, Mike. And those have been both utilized here throughout this event on both the men and the women's side, as we do see a broken set for Aramo. What did you think about that break that she took there? It was very quick, not a whole lot of movement to it. Is there anything you would have changed if she's going to break?
I think it was the perfect break. That was her set of 6. She went 4-2. The break was less than 5 or 6 seconds. It was just enough to kind of shake the arms out, take a huge breath in, and then start her set all over again. I think that was exactly the right thing to do, because if she had tried to go for 5 and she fails, then she's going to waste a minute trying to recover.
Yet to have had anybody complete this event within the 17-minute time cap. Aramo in possibility of doing that, as is in lane number 1 on the very top of the screen, Mickey Ducchio out of CrossFit Maven. Mickey making her 4th regional appearance, 3rd as an individual. '27th place finish in the first event puts her in a position that she's normally not used to. She's normally hanging around those top 10, 15 spots at the end of the weekend. We'll see if she can make her way back up there. Christy Aramo continuing to make short work of the deadlifts especially. And impressively, the smallest athlete here in this heat has gone wire to wire thus far.
This entire event for her is coming down to the bench press. The deadlift is a non-issue. It's just kind of in the way. The squat cleans, it's just managing her lungs and her wind. But the bench press, this is where the event is going to be made or lost.
Not sure if that bar was hitting the strap or if that was her arm. That was definitely hitting the strap after watching that one.
Yeah, I was pitching her forward. The bar was, she wasn't set up far enough outside the J-cups. So when she was taking the bar out, coming down, it would bump the straps and throw the bar forward down towards her belly.
Okay, now we can throw out there. That was some great control to keep those reps going after that. She'll make the adjustment, hit a easy set of 2 and a easy set of 1 as she closes out the round of 5, and that event record is going to be safe perhaps throughout the entire regional season, as Katrin Davidsdottir, who just laid waste to the East Regional, has that number at 12 minutes 50 seconds. It's less than a minute from now. And Nikki Nucchio will be our new leader. Got 3 career top 5 finishes at regionals. She might be finding herself in position for a 4th. Nucchio at a CrossFit Maven, Rochester, Michigan. She might need to be careful because there's a couple stipulations on this bench press. One is that your feet must stay on the floor, and the one that I'm kind of nervous for her on is that you have to keep your butt on the bench, and you can see her lifting up just a little bit.
The tendency on the bench press, especially when you're going really fast like that, is to drive the feet into the floor. And you want to do that. You want to anchor yourself, but when you drive your feet into the floor, you also need to drive your hips into the bench instead of lifting your rear end off the bench.
Rep lead, make it a 4-rep lead, and Nucchio might be in the clear. She begins the round of 3, so 6 reps of each movement remaining. She's in place to be the first woman to beat the time cap here this afternoon. Being the difference maker as she still looks very sturdy on the bench. Now it's time for those touch and go cleans in the set of 3 on to the round of 2. Place Christy Aramo on the right side. She'll make her way to the bar. Looks like it might not be enough time for her to make up the ground again. She held on valiantly for the first 7 rounds of this. Nikki Nucchio well in position to take the lead here in this event and be the 22nd woman in the world to complete this event. Looking at a success rate of about 16–17% of athletes that have taken on this event. With 2 minutes remaining, she will move on to the round of 1.
You said it earlier, Brandon, this is just the annoyance round. You just have to run back, do single, 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 and done. But you know, this can occupy 30–35 seconds of your score.
Been spend most of the time on this round just transitioning from bar to bar. There's the deadlift. She'll move to the bench. Still 90 seconds until the time cap. Believe we're going to have a couple of finishers. She's got her support section going. It's always nice to have one of those outside lanes because you're closest to the fans, especially when your fans make their way next to where you are. One final rep, and it could be a possible best career finish. It's a new event lead for Mickey Nucchio at 15 minutes, 46 seconds. Christy Aramo onto the final round. Still 1 minute until the time cap. This is impressive. Under 130 pounds. That bar being 8 pounds heavier than she is. Bench press. She'll take second place with 1 heat remaining. Final round now for Fumagalli. This is going to be a solid finish for her. Entered this event in 10th. Don't think there's going to be enough time for anybody else to finish as we're in our final 10 seconds. Could be a possible sprint to the line. 3 seconds left. She's going to get to the bar. She stood it up. It's a good rep, but she didn't reach the finish, Matt, so she'll have the time cap penalty. But she did complete all the work, minus crossing the line. So we'll officially have 2 women here in heat number 3 able to beat the time cap, led by Mickey Nucchio, 15 minutes, 46 seconds.
Well, Christy Aramo came out to an early lead, made the deadlifts look really easy. The bench press, same thing, unbroken in sets of 8 and 7. Had to break up the set of 6. Squat cleans looked effortless from start to finish. Really steady pace, but it was Mickey Nucchio took over in the round, going into the round of 4 and never looked back. The deadlifts were super easy. It was an easy finish for her, coming in at 15 minutes and 45 seconds.
With that, the 22nd woman in the world to complete this event under the time cap in at 15:46. Christy Aramo, the 23rd at 16:19, and we will likely find more as it is time for heat number 4 of 4. We close out the opening day of competition, the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Central Regional with event number 2, Linda.
Movement.
Time cap has been defeated now by 2 women in our first 3 heats. The next 10 include a handful of athletes that are still in the top 10 in the point standings after the opening event, including 3rd place Amanda Barnhart will be in lane number 4, and 2nd place Brooke Wells might just have a home run pitch here in this one. She'll be in lane number 6.
Wells absolutely tore the first event apart. It was an impressive showing for her with a 42.06 on that endurance event, and we expect to see huge things from her when she grabs the barbell here. Barnhart as well, same exact outcome. It was 3rd place finish at 42.56 in event 1, but we expect her to come out strong in event 2.
Now on the men's side, we spoke about how dangerous Alex Anderson was in the position he was after a really strong first event, getting that home run pitch in event 2. Similar fashion for Wells, who you can see the confidence on her face coming into this event.
This is an event and a benchmark workout that there's no doubt she's tackled several times.
Still a few seconds away from closing this one out. And starting our final heat of the day.
10 seconds. Athletes stand by.
And away we go with our final heat of the day in Nashville. Heat 4 of 4 in women's event 2. Beginning with the set of 10 deadlifts at 220 pounds.
The keys to this event is going to be pacing right off the start, but most importantly to the ladies, it's going to be managing the bench press, making sure that we don't get failure, that if you start to feel yourself approaching that failure point, to rack the bar up, take a couple breaths. Strategy is huge here. You cannot allow yourself to hit that red line. You've got to stay away from that rev limiter.
More athletes break up this opening set of 10 on the bench, and that does include Wells. Don't believe anybody tested going 10 unbroken, and it will be Wells in lane number 6, and in lane number 3, Emma Chapman, 1 and 2, getting to the barbell for the first set of 10 cleans at 105.
Looking down the line, I see most of the ladies are choosing to do singles. So just one rep at a time.
Emma Chapman, one of the athletes that's needing to have a good event here after a 23rd place finish in the opening event. 30-year-old making her 3rd regional appearance. This by far the best entry into it, finishing 3rd in the Central East out of the Open. Touch and go for a couple of athletes, and the one that's the most notable is our athlete that enters this event in 3rd in the point standings, Amanda Barnhart.
And those touch and go reps are perfect. She comes down to the floor already loaded like a spring to come right back to the top. It's really efficient. The problem is they put you closer to that red line that we talked about earlier. You need to manage that, and maybe we'll see some singles down the road, but I'd be really shocked if we were seeing touch and goes from start to finish.
Now the interesting thing there is that she goes touch and go, the only one to do that for all 10 reps, but she still finds herself 6th place after the opening round. Leader continues to be Brooke Wells. You cannot be shocked about that in an event where there's going to be 55 deadlifts at 220 when her one win in games events comes from the deadlift ladder where she about cleared the entire thing. She's continuing to break up this set of 9, but she does still lead, and for an update on our leader, we go to Mike Arsenault.
As we mentioned during event number 1, Brooke Wells has put a lot of work in to change herself as an athlete, and she was happy to see that pay off in event number 1. She told me in the warm-up area that she doesn't want to be an athlete who is just good at one thing like strength. She wants to be good at everything. She also told me that her strength hasn't suffered with her new training focus, and I think the proof is in the pudding so far in event number 2.
Thanks, Mike, and she is making a good pace at that being exactly the pace there for Wells, that the strength has not slipped off at all as she holds the lead. Continues to be Chapman in 2nd. 4th place is going to be Jessica Griffith, another one of the athletes to keep an eye on in this one. She enters this event in 12th.
You know, I know how risky that is as a strength athlete that's trying to change the way they approach different workouts in the gym, and it's so hard to abandon your strength or to kind of back burner that for a little while and focus on your breathing and your skills and your gymnastics. I give her a ton of credit for kind of back burnering that stuff. And then when you see it all play out and you know that your endurance is there, obviously, coming in 2nd in event 1, but your strength is still there. You can still rely on it, and you know that you can go out there and wing barbells around. I give her a ton of credit for being that patient to work through that process.
And for a little bit there, it almost seemed like she just had an excessive amount in reserve in the strength side. So she had that leeway. Maybe now she might not win every strength event at this point if you're looking at the games, but before she would win those by 10, 20%. It was just, you could work on other things at that point. Well, Wells moves to the clean bar for the round of 8. We check in on Jennifer Smith, who enters this event 1 spot out in 6th, and that is a familiar position for her, hanging right around that 5th spot when it comes to regionals.
It seems like that's the trend here, is that we're always hanging around the middle, 1st, 5th, 6th, 4th, and that seems to be the trend with her rankings.
Always consistent, always hanging around the top 5. She looks pretty good on the bench. one shot, and that is not trying to be deceptive. Wells already through the cleans before anybody else gets to that bar, as Griffith in second is falling way behind Brooke Wells. Wells moving to the bench with about 1 minute lead over Jessica Griffith in second. Now those are athletes that you expect to do well in this one. One athlete that you expect to have a bit of a struggle is Kelly Jackson. She's very good with the body weight movements, very good with the endurance, but once it gets heavy, she is one of the smaller athletes in the field.
And at a body weight of only 125 pounds, that bench press is going to get heavy quickly.
She's into the round of 8, so she's within 1 round of the lead. That could get out of hand quickly once we get to the smaller numbers. And speaking of leaders, Wells onto the bar for the round of 7.
She looks so composed. If you pay attention to her feet, you can see her feet never actually move. She's doing that squat clean. The barbell stays exactly where she wants it to. Up and down, rep after rep, those feet stay in place.
She's putting the finishing touches on the round of 7. Still 6 all the way down to 1 remains in this 17-minute time cap event to close out day number 1. After this, she'll advance that bar forward as she does now, make her way to the deadlift bar, then the bench bar, then back to that 105-pound bar for the round of 6 on cleans. So composed, especially on the deadlifts. She says she wants to be more than a strength athlete, but you still get to this point where you put a bar in her hands, it's going to be magic. Those are still the top 2 in this heat, and Jessica Griffith is about a full round behind Brooke Wells. This is just impressive as she still tries to chase down that event-leading time, 15 minutes, 46 seconds. Nikki Nucchio, 1 heat to go. How do you feel about her pacing on this, on the bench press portion?
I think it was flawless. She, on her set of 6 here, she just went 3, 2, and 1. And what I was watching to see in the set of 3, she hit 3 reps really, really quickly with absolutely no pause at the top. She racked the bar, took 1 breath, re-gripped the bar, and did the exact same thing for 2. No pausing at all at the top. As soon as the bar came to a stop at the 2nd rep, she racked it up, took 1 breath, took it right back out of the rack and hit that single. So I think that pacing was absolutely perfect. It shows somebody who's done this more than once. They've practiced it and rehearsed it, and they know what the capacity is. They're really familiar with their own skill set.
Halfway through the rounds, as it's now just 15 reps remaining of each movement. Still a little more than 6 minutes until the time to beat. Keep in mind, too, the event record time, 12 minutes 50 seconds by Katrin Davidsdottir. And amazingly enough, as good as this performance is, it's still about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes off the pace of Katrin a week ago in the East. That's just absurd if you think about it.
I don't even know how to process how fast 12:50 is to finish this event.
Onto the cleans, and this is the only difference maker when you look at the event record pace. Was Katrin went unbroken touch and go on these. as Wells goes in singles throughout each round.
And that is the difference maker, because if you're going to do touch and go reps, it's great. You can pick up a lot of time, no question about it. And Chapman would be 90 seconds to almost 2 minutes quicker right here than Brooke Wells. But you gotta be ready to pay the price there, because those touch and go reps will burn you out.
And when we look at event records, there is something else to say about the fact that Wells has a gigantic lead over everybody here, and being here is what matters more than the event record. Katrin had a couple of hard chargers right behind her in the east. Into the round of 4 for Brooke Wells, who's looking to go wire to wire here in women's event number 2. She's made quick work of the deadlift. She's also been very methodical and very clean on these bench presses.
Bench press has just been perfect. The pacing, the tempo. You can see she hits the top and the barbell comes right back to the bottom.
That'll be the first time we see her go unbroken, and it comes in the set of 4. She has been very strategic on that portion of the event. She still has 4 minutes to catch the time to beat a 15:46. Mickey Nucchio in heat number 3. I don't think that's gonna last a whole lot longer, as Wells already halfway through the set of 4 squat cleans with that 105-pound bar. And on to round number 8, the round of 3 reps of each movement. Here in event number 2, 3, 2, 1. All that remains for Brooke Wells on the deadlift at 220, the bench press at 135 pounds, the squat clean at 105, 17-minute time cap. Only 23 women in the world have beaten that time cap, just 2 of the 30 thus far here in the Central Regional.
I expect to see Brooke tear that score apart. The bench press is just picking up pace. One of the things that I love about doing 10 down to 1 workouts is I feel like I'm running downhill. And as I get closer to the end of the 4, 3, 2, and 1, I actually pick up my pace faster and faster and faster like the hill gets steeper. And it's a good visualization, and that's what you can see Brooke doing right here. It seems like the tempo is almost hurrying up as she's going through.
Speaking of visualization, there's a good look at where the field plays out in terms of those barbells, indicating what round everybody is on. Wells starting the round of 2, second place Jessica Griffith just starting the round of 4. Still 2 minutes, 20 seconds until the time of Mickey Nucchio at 15:46. That is not going to last a whole lot longer. Give it about another minute. Brooke Wells will very likely find herself with an event win after a second place finish on an event where we thought, all right, top 10 might be a good finish for her. She took second place on triple threes, an endurance event. Now the sprint to the bar just about for her set of 2 squat cleans at 105 pounds, now going touch and go. She sees the light at the end of the tunnel, clearing the 14-minute mark. Nice ovation from the crowd here at the Music City Center. Final round, 1 rep of each, and it's a victory lap round for Brooke Wells, who has led this since the very beginning. There's the bench, and the squat clean is just going to be 1 rep just to get to the finish line at this point. Brooke Wells is going to be career event win number 6 at regionals, and she'll find herself atop the leaderboard after day 1.
Love that big smile. Take the second, event 1, and first, and event 2. Just unbelievable start to the weekend for Brooke.
14 minutes, 42 seconds, a minute 4 quicker than the prior time to beat. 2.5 rounds behind her is second place Jessica Griffith, which this is a solid performance. Again, we've only seen 24 women in the world now actually beat the time cap, but it almost feels slow compared to what we just saw. The two-time fittest nurse on earth in the Open the past 2 years. Raise the bar. This is the set of 4. Take that back to set of 3. She'll move on to her final 9 reps of each movement. Amanda Barnhart entered this event 3rd in the point standings. She's on the left side of the screen in black and pink, about ready to start her set on the bench. And as Emma Chapman makes her way to the bench in white and black, that's the race for 3rd here in this heat as we enter our final minute until the 17-minute time cap. Griffith pretty comfortably in 2nd. Griffith making her way back to the clean bar. A round of 2 might not be enough time for her to complete this event within that time cap. Could very well be going for a 4th place finish. There's Barnhart making her way back to the deadlift bar at the 9th round of 10. Shockingly enough, you'd think final heat, you're going to see your most impressive performances, and you did on the top end with Brooke Wells, but only 1 will finish out of 10, perhaps 2 if she can go. Trying to protect heat number 4 is Jessica Griffith. She's going to get to the bar. She'll stand it up, but the time cap is going to hit before she can hit the finish mat, so she officially won't get credit as a finisher within the time cap. And that leaves Brooke Wells as the only woman out of 10 in our 4th heat able to do so. We did have 2 finish from heat number 3 with Mickey Nuccio and Christy Aramo. But Brooke Wells, 2nd in event 1, 1st in event number 2, and she should find herself in 1st place after the opening day.
What a great start to the weekend for Brooke Wells, going 2-1. Huge points for her. Wells took control from the first deadlift all the way through. The bench press was flawless. Her pacing was brilliant. Every time she needed to take a quick pause, she was able to rack that bar up. Huge smile coming across, making that last clean look really, really easy. And a great, great event win for Brooke Wells.
Wells in impressive fashion, over a minute quicker than 2nd. Brooke Wells with the event win. She's with Mike Arsenault.
Brooke, a 2nd place in event number 1. 1st place here on event number 2 puts you at the top of the leaderboard after day 1 of the Central Regional. Now, we talked earlier that you've trained yourself as an athlete in 2018. What exactly does that entail?
I've just been working a lot with my coach. I'm being better at the things that I'm bad at. So like look at event 1. People probably didn't expect me to win an endurance, get 2nd on an endurance based event. So I'm more proud of that 2nd place than an expected 1st place.
And you mentioned that you were able to maintain your strength. How are you able to do that by changing your training focus so far in 2018?
To be honest, you're gonna have to ask Ben Bergeron. He tells me what I need to do, and I just do it every day. I work really hard, but I leave all of that side of it to him because he really knows what he's doing there. So I just put in my hardest work, and it works well.
What does your rest and recovery look like tonight before day 2 tomorrow?
I'll just eat a lot of food. That's the main thing, and then just like I do Compegs and Normatec, and just really relaxing. It's been really fun. My whole family's here. I get to hang out with them, so I relax really hard and then work out really hard.
Well, go have fun. We'll see you tomorrow for day 2.
Thank you.
It's been a good month thus far for Brooke Wells. She takes the event win, her 6th of her regional career, likely the points leader after day number 1 for the recent college graduate from the University of Missouri. She takes this one of 3 women to beat the time cap. Mickey Nuccio in 2nd at 15:46. Christy Aramo likely 2nd after day number 1, finishing 3rd in event number 2. As that puts the finishing touches on the first of 3 days at the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Central Regional here in Nashville. And we saw a lot of as expected on the teams and the women's side, but how about that wild men's side as we start the first of those 3 days at the Central Regional. Day number 2 coming up